Good morning, Flosstube. It's Lori of Mischievous Stitches. I want to welcome everyone to my channel this weekend. I'm very glad that you're here visiting with me. So if you were here last weekend, you saw that I'm still continuing to work on my Reflecs de Soie piece, but I've also had a really long work week and a lot of time in the yard. This time of year, usually in April, my husband and I get out in the yard in full force and do the weeding and what raking needs to be done and just general yard work to get things ready for the planting in late April and early May. We didn't do that this year. We're a little bit behind. So the past couple of weekends, we have been in the yard the majority of the weekend, and for me, it's just like stitching. It allows my mind to not to wander, but to focus on something other than the worries of the work week or the worries of the day. Just digging in the dirt is so therapeutic to me, just like my stitching. So this weekend, what we've done is we have one whole side of our house that is hydrangea bushes. We had one over there last year. My husband decided he wanted to put hydrangeas all the way down the side, and so we did that last year, and they're so beautiful and healthy right now. I can't wait to see them in the coming years as they grow. But he likes lilies, so last year we planted several lily bulbs, and they're coming up and they're just to the point they're ready to bloom. You can start to see the green of the bulb is kind of fading and the color of the flower is starting to show a little bit, and I think that they should be blooming by the end of this coming week. And yesterday we went out and got 4 new bags of lily bulbs, and I got those in the ground, got that whole bed. Like I said, it runs the entire length of one side of the house, and I got that weeded, got all those bulbs in. We got a flower bush in, some mandevilla. I love the flowers, and so we got those in, and a little bit of raking. We still have a little bit to do. I did get my vegetable plants in. I did a lot of herbs on the back porch, which I've done last year, and I really enjoyed being able to walk right out the back door and pull fresh herbs. My sage come back up on its own, but I just added another plant in the pot with it. And like I said, I just enjoy growing things, watching it grow. So every morning during the work week, I get up. You know, you have a routine, or I do. I get up, I have my coffee brewing as I'm getting ready for work. I come out, I have my coffee, and I walk outside, and I have to check on my babies. I have to check on my plants. I want to see how they've grown, and what they've grown overnight is just minuscule, but it brings me such happiness just to look in on them like a little mother, just encourage them to grow a little more. So I do that every morning. But as far as during the week with my stitching, it's still my therapy too. So after work every day, after dinner, after, you know, a bath, a shower, whatever, I come up here and I spend about an hour or so stitching, and I want to share with you where I got on my current piece. And this is Reflecs de Soie, and I have, if you've watched my past videos, my most recent ones, you'll see that I have converted this to red shades of reds, orangey red. So I want to share with you where I'm at on that. So last week when I shared it, I had basically pulled out the majority of what I had stitched last week, because I had picked it up last week and started in the wrong place, or repeated the line above where I should have, and it threw everything off by one line, and so I had to rip everything out. So I was able to put all of that back in, and I got a small start on the next band that goes around here. You can see it's a lighter shade, and so I have that. And so I think this week I'm going to drop up into that center circle, and I'm going to complete those pieces. So I think there's one more of because it's a symmetrical piece, one of the peachy cream leaves, and then 2 more of the darker, and a couple of those vines. So I'm going to work on that this week and hoping I can get that completed. And that's where I am. So there's been no other stitching. I don't have a lot to share as far as progress this week. But I did want to show you, now where did I stick that? I didn't show this last video because I planned on finishing this fully and then sharing it with you this weekend. But as I said, it's been a hectic work week. I changed offices and I'm very happy about the change, but at the same time, it cut into the time I could stitch and things this week, which is perfectly fine. Those things happen. But I did not get these Santas finished. So I have everything ready. I have the mat boards cut. It probably wouldn't take me an hour. I just have not gotten to it. So hopefully next weekend I could share with you the finish, but I want to go ahead and share the piece finish with you. And this is the 2020 Prairie Schooler Santa. And if you've watched my videos again in the past few months, you've probably noticed that I remember that I wanted to change the colors, and the colors that I changed are the light bulbs. They're supposed to be a acrylic neon, or either, I think it was a neon yellow, and I didn't want that, so I changed to more muted tones of the Christmas bulbs that I grew up with. Now, I'm not referring to the Christmas bulbs that are on the Christmas tree. I'm referring to the ones, well, we used to use them on our Christmas tree, but the larger bulbs, they're about an inch or so tall. And there's the plastic necklaces now that you can purchase at Christmas time for just a fun necklace for a party. I'm referring to those, but I muted the colors down because they are relatively bright to something that would match the Santa and the fabric a little better, but that's what I come up with. And I really, really like him. He's so much fun. So this past week, I had filmed a video sharing with everyone my Lottie doll collection. I just want you to know I had another stack over here of whips that I didn't even, not whips, but kits that I didn't even share. But a lot of you left kind comments to share about the pieces that you have stitched, the pieces that you have owned, the pieces that you hope to purchase, the pieces that I introduced you to in that video. But I did have a viewer introduce me to the ABC alphabet by Lottie doll that I had not seen. So I had to go after the comment and look, and so I purchased it. And along with it, I went ahead and purchased the Prairie Schooler 2019 Santa so I can work on him this year. But that piece, it should be in Monday. So I went ahead and kitted it up, and it's just a small horizontal piece. And I think it's going to be beautiful. It'll fit in a small space if it's framed. So I'm looking forward to getting that in. It should be a relatively quick stitch, and it's a monochrome stitch. But thank you. You guys inspire and enable me just as I do you. So thank you for that. And then again today, I pulled out a couple of pieces. I keep meaning to share these, and it just slips my mind. We had a shop here locally that was named Counted Stitches that closed a few years ago, but for many years, it was my fun spot. On the weekends, if they were having a stitch, the girls were getting together, I was there. If I could make it happen, I was there. And this was during the time when my kids were small, so I couldn't always make it there, and I couldn't always afford to buy new or kit up something there in the shop. So a lot of times they would offer, we could stitch models for the shop and earn shop credits. So as a young mother with not a lot of spare money, I did that a lot. Not only did it give me the opportunity to actually stitch, it also gave me those credits so that I could buy a new pattern that I wanted to stitch for myself. So two of the pieces, and I want to say, I can see the emblem of the designer in my mind, but can't come up with it. So if you do know the designer, please drop it below. But I can't remember. But these are two, after the shop closed, about 2 years ago, one of the owners from the shop was, basically had the local patrons there to go through and share part of the stash from the other owner who had passed. And some of the old shop models were there, and I picked up these two because I had stitched them and I want to share them with you. And it's still in the plastic. I need to get it hung up in here, but here's one of them. And you can tell when I share the next one that they are both the same designer. Wait a minute, there's something written on the back. Let me get my glasses on. Let's see if it's got the name. Sisters and Best Friends. And this is called Winter Peace. And that's so cool because it also has the name of the shop on the back. So they obviously had used it. Sometimes they would travel to the needlework shows and have a booth there. But that's Winter Peace. And here's the other one. I can just remember stitching that Santa. And then this is Joy. I love the color of this frame. But aren't those beautiful? This framing's very light. This is one of my favorite colors, an olive green. So it just, again, gives me, makes me happy to have these pieces, not just that I stitched them, but know that they were hanging in one of my favorite shops and where I spent a lot of hours with good friends, or what are still good friends, stitching away. And so there's that. So this week I did receive a gift. I received a gift from Claudia. I had shared a few cups that a friend had, plates that a friend had gifted me with this pattern on it. And Claudia reached out and shared a couple spare pieces that she had. So look at that. Little dainty teacup. Isn't that beautiful? Love it, love it. Let me get the other pieces. You're gonna hear the bubble wrap. She wrapped it so well. I was worried, you know, I always worry when something's coming fragile in the mail that it's gonna get broken. But she wrapped it perfectly. Here's the other. She also gifted me this bowl. Look how sweet and dainty. And the salsa for the teacup. Thank you so much, Claudia. I love it. She did mention she's hoping to stitch one of these pieces, something small, and I think that's a great idea. So I'm happy to have those pieces, and maybe one day I'll be like Claudia and have a collection of my own, a set of my own. This community, so many people say it, and I'm going to repeat it again because it's worth saying, is how giving and kind and share, you know, accepting of other stitchers. I just love this community, and I'm glad to be a part of it. So what am I going to do this coming week? Just what I've been doing. I'm going to stitch in the evenings on my current piece. I'm going to have that Prairie Schooler Santa finished for next weekend to share. Again, I've been following hashtags on Instagram, Googling the images on the web, trying to see different ways people have finished it. And I've got an idea in my mind of how I want to do it, which is always incorporating other ideas together. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. One of the things I'm struggling is the size of whether I don't like a lot of frou-frou, so I don't know if I'm going to leave a lot of space on the top to add anything, whether it be a button or greenery. I don't think I'm going to do that. So I cut the mat board, and I think I'm going to change and just keep it symmetrical all the way around and not leave that lip. But anyway, I'll have my decision made hopefully by next weekend, and I will finally get those finished up. So I'm looking forward to that. I have a couple of pieces that I had stitched to put in my last office. Then I realized I was hoping to get another office, and I never did hang them. And one was my Southern Land, and one was God Bless America. So as I have a federal job, and I think they'll work perfectly in my office. So I'm looking forward to taking those to work and hanging them up so I can look at them every day. And that's about it. So stitching on my Reflecs to Soie piece. I've got that package coming in the mail Monday with that new la-di-da, and I'm taking some pieces to work to hang. So those are going to be my cross stitch adventures this week. So until next time, I hope everyone has a wonderful week, that you find a few moments to have a little needle and thread therapy. Take care. Bye-bye.